Hi, I'm Dr. Sandra Duncan. I'd like to share with you a story of transformation, a story of creating, a story of initiative, and most importantly, a story of collaboration between the San Antonio chapter of the Texas Association for the Education of Young Children, Kaplan Early Learning Company, and the YMCA of San Antonio. This is a story about how a classroom makeover changed not only the children's lives, but impacted the parents, the local community, and those who work with young children across the state of Texas and beyond. Let's hear from Dr. Melissa Williamson of the San Antonio chapter for the Texas AC and Anna Wilmoth from Kaplan Early Learning about how this initiative all started.
As the Texas Association for the Education of Young Children conference approached its being here in San Antonio, Texas, one of the things that our local chapter wanted to do was really to honor teachers. Because when you think about early childhood and you think about early childhood teachers over the last couple of years, we all know now that during these few years that we have lived in this pandemic state, that the awareness of the importance of early childhood and the importance of these teachers has risen to a height like never before. And we wanted to keep that momentum going because when you think about who were the ones that were providing the child care while families were having to go to work, who were the ones that continued? The majority of those people, besides our first responders, our medical teams, they were child development specialists, child development professionals, child development teachers, and caregivers. And so, as we thought about something to do, something that would be so special that could honor one person, that would honor one teacher, what we came up with was the Dr. Sandra Duncan Environmental Teacher Appreciation Award. And what that award did was allow applicants to apply to have this glorious classroom makeover and to be a part of a special day and a special time working alongside of Dr. Duncan and thinking about their environment, thinking about how their environment contributes to the success of their classroom. And so, as a chapter, I can't think of a time when we have highlighted an early childhood professional in this way before. You know, we've always done the traditional conferences and honored, you know, trainers and honored all kinds of individuals, but to actually have a day set aside for just one special individual, it was miraculous, and I think it's something that will long be remembered. And so it was our pleasure to operate and to facilitate such a really great opportunity for this teacher and a really great opportunity for our community to award the Dr. Sandra Duncan Environmental Teacher Appreciation Award.
For more than 50 years, Kaplan Early Learning Company has been a champion for supporting early childhood education through our research-based curricula, enriching classroom environments, and innovative technology solutions. Our products and services inspire a lifelong love of learning in children and educators. We understand the magic of childhood and truly believe that when we play, we learn. So, when we heard about this project, Kaplan was excited to support and contribute to the Classroom Makeover Initiative. Congratulations to you, Jeanette Jimenez, and thank you for helping young children become their best.
So, the lovely teacher on the right is Jeanette, who was the well deserved winner of the classroom makeover. Jeanette teaches preschoolers at the YMCA. This picture was taken at a special event honoring Jeanette at the Texas AEYC conference in San Antonio. Approximately 60 people came to meet and honor Jeanette, as well as to see the classroom makeover reveal. The festive event included munchies, cake, and award ceremony, and of course, lots of laughter, smiles, and hugs. You can see on the right side of this slide a portion of the people who attended the special event. So here's the story of Jeanette's classroom. Here was our starting point. This is what Jeanette's classroom looked like when we started. Brightly colored paint, some covered windows, a few confining spaces, definitely visual and physical overload and lots of stuff. We used the research of Fisher, Godwin, and Seltman, who found that visual and physical overload, those types of environments, are detrimental to children's development. So with that research in mind, armed with that research, we began the classroom transformation. Step one was to discuss possibilities. How could this room look? Assign tasks. We also discovered quite a few unanticipated challenges, and we gathered the troops. In the middle image of this slide, you'll see a crude drawing of what we thought the classroom might look like when we started the transformation and when we completed the transformation. What happened was it didn't end up quite like this, which is typical because we always want to design the classroom based on children's needs and based on children's interests and also based on the materials and the equipment that we have for the space. Step two in preparing the space was to talk about breaking the traditional aesthetic code of the classroom. The traditional aesthetic code of the classroom is primary colors, lots of stuff hanging on the walls, as you can see here, being on the shelves, on the floors, and things hanging from the ceiling. We wanted to replace this traditional aesthetic code with places of beauty, with places of wonder. We know from the research and the work of Dr. Ruth Wilson that children not only need beauty in their classrooms, they deserve beauty. So we went about preparing the space by breaking the traditional aesthetic code and by recognizing and infusing places of beauty and wonder into the environment. Our first step in doing this was to take down the permanent built-in wall where you can see to the right of the green arrow in the image. That was a built-in wall, and at the end of the wall on both ends were gates that allowed children to go back and forth between the two spaces. The classroom that we designed, which is on the left side of the wall, and the other classroom was on the right side of the wall. We prepared the space by engaging the community, decluttering the space, clearing the palette, scrounging for stuff that we needed, freshening up with a coat of paint, and we also purchased some new materials. Just a few. So when teachers are asked to step out of their comfort zone, and when directors are asked to step out of their comfort zone, they sometimes have just a little bit of skeptical thinking. The director of the YMCA, Mari, was no exception. Let's hear what Mari had to say at the project's beginning. And then a little bit later in this presentation, you're going to hear from Mari again to find out what she had to say when the project was finished.
I'd like to say how skeptical I was of the project. We have been taught to do things a certain way for so very long that I wasn't quite sure how that was going to look or how that would even work. So, to say the least, I was very skeptical going forward with this project.
So the next step in designing the classroom was to determine the layout based on the furniture that we had, based on children's behavior movements, and most importantly, based on their viewpoints. One of the most important ideas in classroom design is to understand how children view the world. Their view of the world is governed by their height. So one of the things you need to do, and one of the things that we did in this classroom design, was to take a look at what children would see as they entered the classroom door. We also learned a little bit about empathic design, which is designing from the child's viewpoint, the end user's viewpoint, which is the child. We applied the new design concepts and the understandings that we learned about, we applied them to the classroom design, to Jeanette's classroom. Here you see on the left image, we were scooching down to the child's height at the classroom entry door to see what they could see as they entered the classroom. The purpose of doing this is to help children transition from their outside world to your inside classroom world. And if all they can see are backs of cabinets or maybe custodial objects such as the broom or the trash can or table legs, those things are not exciting things for children. You want to provide a view from the door that encourages children to transfer from their world into your world. Other things we had thought about were finding the light in the room and also applying these new design concepts and understandings to this classroom design. The right image shows how we're thinking about how children would view, what children would view from the middle of the classroom, which is another thing to consider. So here's the view from the door, a before view on the right-hand side, and you can see that children can see the back of that wall. They can see a bunch of table legs and some chairs stacked up in the end of a cabinet. Please notice at the very back of this image on the right, the classroom door to the playground, as well as the brightly colored wall. If you look on the left, this is the transformation image from the view from the door. When children come in, they take their name tag from the little container, the animal container that's on the right of the image, and they find their name and they transfer it over to the giraffe container. This daily ritual is an idea about helping children transition into your classroom. This ritual says to the child, I am here, I belong, I'm welcome, I'm part of this community. You can also see the view from the door where children can see into several centers, even if they're just in the door jamb. Understanding viewpoints from the middle of the classroom is also important. So the view from the middle of the classroom, you can see on the right image, which was the before, you can't see a lot of things because the storage shelving units are barring the view. So if you look on the left, after the transformation, if you were standing in the middle of the classroom, you would be able to see many, many learning centers that are in this classroom. Notice also how the visual view between the two classrooms is made defined by hanging, those are actually window panes with the glass taken out. We hung those above the shelving units that replaced the wall, and that became a definition and a defining definition of a wayfinding technique between the two rooms. Hanging an empty lampshade from the ceiling over the home living table helps children find their way to this area. Notice how the circle rug defines the center rather than a multitude of shelving units. So the child can see into the center before they even get into the space itself. Imagine how children can easily navigate this space because of the furniture placement, the placement of the furniture. Hanging empty window frames above the shelving units that divide the two rooms into two classrooms helps to visually define the space. Notice how the outside cascades of light coming into the room with the beautiful shadow of the tree in the lower left image, the lower left corner of the image. With the window frames and the sun shining into the room, this space feels and looks like a great place for children to be. The classroom transformation resulted in not only a better place for children, but also for the staff. Listen to the teacher, Jeanette, and how her teammate who works in the adjoining space also transformed this space, and listen to what they have to say.
So, ladies, we're all done. Tell me a little bit about how you're feeling and what you think, and what are your ideas about this whole process, and just tell me how you're feeling right now.
I feel very excited. I love it. The kids are excited because I've been telling them that we're getting a new room. So they're all like, what's going on? And I'm like, we're getting new stuff. So I think it's going to be a big surprise when they walk in. I don't know if we'll be in here tomorrow morning, but if we are, they're going to be really excited. And I think they're going to love it.
I feel thrilled that I got a new room. It's so much space. It feels more, how should I say, not overwhelmed as much as we used to have the room.
Yeah.
We had like a lot of colors here and there, a lot of toys.
And it seems so much smaller.
Yes, my room seems small, like really small. And now that I look at it, it's much bigger. Like there's more space, and I love that. I feel like the kids will be more comfortable with the toys and the setting and the natural things that are in the room now. So I feel like they'll get excited too about the kids, getting the toys, and I don't know. I feel like they're gonna like it. They're gonna be so awesome.
And I love that wherever we stand, we can see them, and there's no hiding places. There's no, they can see us, and we can see them as well, everywhere, in each of the classrooms. So I think they're gonna like that a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, both of you, for going on this journey with us.
Amazing journey.
Yeah, it's an amazing journey.
Yes.
And you guys did so well in terms of preparing the room before we got here. And I thank you for that. And thank you for just going along and being very flexible. I know it's kind of hard when we tear your room apart.
No, it's not. No,
But thank you. And one thing I really hope that you learn from this experience is less is more.
yes,
Yes.
Yes. And it doesn't mean that you can't have a lot of stuff. You can have a lot of stuff, but it just means put few things out, and when the children tire or you think it's time for them to change, then you just quickly change. And this is what um, this is what they're doing right now. They've got all of these wonderful baskets and they're filled with replacements for the shelves. So I thought that was a really good idea. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
We love it.
And here's what Debbie, who is the YMCA's VP of Youth Development, has to say. Listen to what she says about beauty. Okay, Debbie, we're done now. And I just wanted to have a little conversation with you about what you thought of the process and what you learned today and what you think going forward this means for everybody, including the children, of course.
I am just blown away. I had no idea. We were so ecstatic to find out that we were the recipients of the classroom makeover, and I knew the classroom looked good. I knew it was going to look great. I had no idea it was going to be this gorgeous. And it looks like something you see out of a magazine. And the environment, it's open, it's there's a lot of options and choice. It's not as cluttered. It is gorgeous. I can't wait for the kids and the parents to be in the room tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
So remember Mari, the center director, who was at the beginning of this process a bit skeptical? Let's listen to what she says now.
So one of the first things that we noticed after the classroom makeover was how calm these children have become. Not only that, everybody likes calm children, but not only are they calm, but they're engaging. They're engaging together. They're loving their space. And although there's less materials, the materials are more intentional. So there's more intentional play. And the engagement that they are showing is amazing.
So one last comment from Mari. Mari believes that all children are worthy of beauty. This classroom transformation brought beauty into the lives of young children. And beauty promotes wonder. And from wonder comes deep engagement and learning. So that's the reason why we focus on beauty. Beauty and aesthetics, as well as emotions of children, drive and are the promoter and the motivator for learning. And so that's the reason why we focus on beauty. We focus on aesthetics. We try to break the traditional aesthetic code of a classroom and move towards a more beautiful place for children to live.
And one of the most rewarding things is the look on the families' faces when they came in, the pride that they have. Most of the children that we serve are low income. No one here pays full price. So when they come in and they see such a beautiful space for their child, and knowing that their child is getting the very best, the best materials, the best classroom that they could possibly get, and they have the best teacher. So the pride that they have is, it makes what we do worthwhile. So it is.
It is my pleasure. It has been my pleasure to tell you this story. It's been my pleasure to be a part of this transformation. My heart is filled with gratitude to all those who helped make Jeanette's classroom a place that is worthy of a miracle. Those children who walk into her classroom each and every day. Architect and author Anita Rue Olds once said, "Children are miracles. We must make it our job to create with reverence and with gratitude a space that is worthy of a miracle." Thank you, San Antonio chapter of Texas AEYC. Thank you, YMCA. And thank you, Kaplan, for being a part of this story.